Welcome to another episode of Not for the Weak-Minded. This is just a short video to show you pretty much from start to finish my blueprint of the Earth, created using the globe Earth model coordinate position and the perfect circle. And essentially this is blueprint 1 out of 2 to show you that the Earth is actually not a globe, but in fact engineered, that has levels, and essentially, when you see at the end, undoubtedly proves the biblical flood is true, that giants once walked the earth, and the whole earth is engineered, that there was no oceans, there was only seas, lakes and rivers before the flood. So this is the first drawing. Now this is the blueprint. I originally did all of this, if you've looked at my previous videos, I tried to do it by hand. Now this one here is a computer model printed, and then without the parallel lines, which are the vertical lines going this way like this. So essentially I did them by hand, creating the meridians and the parallels to basically make a dot to dot drawing of the earth, coordinate positions, just follow the coast. So that's one, and here's the next one. But essentially it took me about a month to do this. Now I'm waiting for the New Year's to get the next one printed. I did try and get it done before, once this one was finished, but the guy who I get it off has run out of paper and he won't get delivery until after New Year's. So it's meant to be. It's meant to be. But as you can see, my progress through time. Now let's just focus on this side. You can see there's a great deal of knowledge heavily incorporated into this. Now each line, these dark lines, are representatives of multiple things, from, in this case, river to walls to lakes, and essentially, as I said at the start, proves undoubtedly that there was engineering on this earth on a massive scale during the time of the giants, and that basically that culture, which was a one world culture of sin, got washed away by the gods. So the question is where did the water come from? And NASA tells you it was space. NASA says water comes from asteroids. But to know that that is a lie based on false principles, but indeed is still truth, that water does come from space. It's just that water is space. Space is water. And so there is an opening somewhat in the dome that let all this water in. Or whatever weapon they used in the ancient past, because unfortunately most people don't get this, but there's nothing new under the technological sun today. As back then, it's just slightly different, you know, but it's still, everything is still about the emulation of the technological creation in their own way, using advanced machines. So in the past, they used machinery and electricity to create, first of all, abundance across the earth, and then through time that got took over by corrupted individuals who then used the knowledge which was spread across the earth, the truth, to create a one world culture of sin. And eventually, if you follow the Bible, you'll know that's exactly where we're headed again today. But I think a lot of people are waking up, and they are part of the solution. But it is very hard to know truth today when you have to go back to see that there's centuries of lies with the truth to convince you of a massive lie about every single thing we have been taught since birth. The fact of the matter is that you're told what the earth looks like before you can even tie your shoes. The globe earth model. And yet the globe earth model is half truth, because everything works around us due to it being old technologies, let's say, because the earth is mapped using the perfect circle, which is the globe earth model. Do you see? And this is one version of using their data to prove the earth, undoubtedly so, to be engineered in the ancient past, where there was no river, there was no oceans. So yes, we have oceans today, but that's because of the great biblical flood which washed away the time of the giants. It's self-evident once you see what I've seen and know that everything is based on a lie, and that there are two answers to everything, and how it relates to knowledge around and incorporated within the Bible. Not just the Bible, but all cultures across the earth, including the tribes, including, all cultures from Asia to North America to South America, across the earth. The whole earth believed in a different value and morality and system of living, which was more contribution based. So this is kind of where we're going back to today. We need to see that everything's a lie in order to actually use the truth to build a contribution based society, so that first of all life doesn't suffer anymore, and people in this world no longer suffer because of those lies, centuries of lies, to get away with calling nature not created while they use the knowledge of creation to manipulate nature. You see what I'm saying? And while everyone thinks global warming is real, the earth isn't a globe, is it? Hence, you need to understand how and why all these technologies around you today are tricking your subconscious mind. How seismic activity is mapped through sounds going on in the underworld, for example, or underground infrastructure. How that data, is real, but it's not what you think it is, and they can get away with mass genocide through centuries of lies because you think that earthquakes and tectonic plates are real, when in reality Pangea is more like it. So what we actually see in the under the water is temples, complexes, engineering, rivers that join up to each other, that go uphill north. They flow north, and essentially hope in the near future I plan to use ancient literature from across the earth to prove that there is 18 hours in the day, that they've lied, there should be a full moon at the end of every month, and that because of these things we don't know the time we live in. In fact, Babylon is on the rise all around us today, and that's something again that you must understand relates to this earth being washed away in the past, and the androgenizing the children today through the LGBT Equality Act, when none of us have been ever equal to those in charge. None. We're not equal to those in charge when they break the rules which they create to get away with centuries of lies and self-destruction of our civilization from deep within it. Because these wicked spirits are not human. They masquerade as human. They are not human. They have not the energies of a human being. Not saying that every human being has a soul either, but most of us do. Most of us are good. We're just being manipulated And you need to know that you are the master of your own destiny. You need to know that with truth and the right thoughts and the right morality and selflessness, you can be part of the solution to end centuries of lies with truth. It's that simple. But unfortunately, many people today would rather believe the centuries of lies than something as like what I'm trying to say and show you. This is the globe earth model. You know what I'm saying? This is the globe earth model, which proves undoubtedly they've lied about it being a globe, that the earth is engineered, has levels. So this river system, right, comes down here and it goes up here, goes through there, and this one goes all the way up like this, all the way up to the top. So there is like the earth itself breathes. It's a living organism, but it's created with cycles. And essentially, I'm trying to prove this, and I'm trying to prove to you that this is how they are manipulating the weather, because they understand the cycles. They understand how they can bring in more water vapor through and flood the earth, essentially. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because they are in angry spirits that have been imprisoned, and they want out. They want out of this prison that was created for them, of which we were meant to be the protectorates of it, so to speak. But most people don't believe they have a soul today, which is why you need to know that you do, you know, how that is energy, how that relates to ghosts, and how energy can be transferred. Your energy is immortal. You are immortal. But unfortunately, as many people today don't know what's coming around the corner, as in, you know, a planned depopulation attack on the Western civilization, where millions of people are going to die not knowing that they've been living in a time of sin, and those people will have to wait in purgatory, where they won't even know how long they've been waiting, because time doesn't exist there. It is not the same. So essentially, there's multiple things going on today. First of all, you need to know that you've been lied to your whole entire lives, and then secondly, you need to know the truth about why they've lied to your entire lives, and that means that you need to know that you're created for a purpose to go against every single thing that you've been taught today, using the truth which they've used to kill everything, to then stop them killing everything, to actually save civilization itself and all life on the earth, because they're trying to eradicate it. Now, unfortunately, the blues, I went through so many blue pens that it doesn't look right, and to put this on a computer and make it look all right, all the same blue, is going to take time, unfortunately. And I'm not going to bother in a minute because I've got other things to do. I've got 2 brand new theories from this blueprint to prove, and I've also got to prove if this blueprint is right in its own by itself, or if it's the other way around, and that Antarctica itself, it goes around the outside like this, where there's land here, but we don't know what, you know, going out this way, which they say, you know, land beyond the poles, and that this bit here and everything else is flipped inwards. Sorry. So this here would be just a small little, a bit of the North Pole, you know, just an ice sheet at the center, like that. Now I don't know which way it is, and I have to, you know, work this out. So if there's anyone out there would like to, you know, take a copy of my blueprint and actually then work on it, you know, to prove, you know, through sun times and moon times and stuff like that, what they are, you know, the ancient literature essentially, the Book of Enoch, prove it right or wrong, but I know it's right. 18 hours in a day, and that's because that's based on the perfect circle, 3, 6 and 9. So please share, like and subscribe. More coming soon.